Okay, in the last video we went over the attribute of style for a tag. In this one, let's talk about some of these. Let's talk about cascading style sheets. Let's talk about some of these other attributes, just as ID in class. ID. So I'm just going to. Right now, style is empty, but I'm just going to delete it here, even though it's still technically there. We're just going to say ID equals. We'll give this ID of A1. And what that's done is it's now going to allow us to specify this in the style sheet. So this is a very special type of tag, type style. And whatever's inside of here is now part of the style sheet. So it's this cascading style sheet. So what we can do here is if you have an ID, you can specify by pound ID name, left hand curly brace thingy, and right curly brace thingy. What you can do is I no longer have to write all this style stuff inside of there. So I can say background color yellow. So it makes it so I don't have to make my my HTML, my markup here is quite so busy and ugly. We'll say color purple. Maybe blue. Looks a little bit nicer, maybe. So that's the ID. That's the idea behind an ID. You can specify a specific one. Now an ID, you can only have one per page. You know, it's supposed to be unique identification. So if I copy that, should not normally do that. But yeah, don't worry about that. But yeah, the idea is that they should be unique. Like this is bad practice to have ID. Even though this is working in Chrome, it's not consistent behavior across browsers. So what you want is the other attribute that we should talk about is a class. So the class, imagine that you have a class of persons. Might be like, for example, one class is you might have all boys, or you might have all girls, or you might have a class of people that all like muffins. So in that same idea, if you want to apply an attribute or a cascading style sheet to multiple of them, you should use a class. So I'm going to change this to class. And boom, 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 boom. Class, we'll say C1. And now, instead of writing C1, a class in a style sheet, you specify it by hitting a period. And we'll change that to C1. So this is much quicker than the alternative is, imagine we weren't using the style sheet in classes. What I would have to write to achieve the same effect, I'd have to do style equals background color yellow, semicolon, color blue, semicolon. And so I could get the same effect by copying that 4 times. But look how much more text that is. It's much easier just to mark each of them as a certain type of class, and then we tell it that anything that has the C1 class should look like that. One other thing worth noticing is you can have a tag have multiple classes. Just in the same way in a style, you can have multiple styles by putting style name, colon, whatever. Instead of putting a semicolon between classes, though, you just put a space. So we'll say C2. And we'll say that the C2 class, if you have that one, we're going to say font, weight, bold. So you can see that the first one is bold. Which, anyway, is just a great way to do it because wherever you go, it's just really easy now to change all of them very quickly, which is by using classes and IDs.